Welcome back to Joe Stunner Boxing. Before I start this video, let me just say a big thank you to everyone that left very kind messages. I sort of alluded to some stuff that's going on with me at the moment personally, and I ain't going to go into details because you'll fall asleep, but a lot of people left very kind words. Really appreciate it. I mean, much love to all of you. It's nice to hear kind words. Positivity breeds positivity, as we know. So yeah, massive thank you to all of you. And hey, nobody died. I'm still here. It's everybody's life has baggage and static, so we just have to move on. As my nan used to say, what cannot be cured must be endured. So there we are. Anyway, let's talk a bit about Anthony Joshua. He seems to, or the proposed fight with Deontay Wilder seems to be in limbo, in no man's land. Excuse me. A couple of people have asked me, do you think this fight's going to happen? I have to say no, I don't think so. At least not in January when it's been proposed. But here's the irony. I know a lot of people are going to say, well, what's happening? From what I can gather, it's to do with money. It's where the money is. There's some friction between the promoters and the Saudi government, and there's something going on. I don't know the details. You may know more about it than I do. You may have read more, but suddenly the money is not a given. And of course, as we know, it's prize fighting. The money is everything. So the thing is, I don't think this is a bad thing for Joshua, because even though Wilder has had less than a round's worth of work since that incredible war with Fury in their third fight, Wilder, even though he's older than Joshua, Wilder knows what he is. Wilder knows his limitations. He has, one might call them delusions of grandeur. But when you believe something, even if to everyone else it seems like absolute nonsense, it seems like you're deluded, you can gain a lot of strength, and most importantly of all, a lot of confidence, simply because you believe it. Why do people fly airplanes into buildings? Because they have a belief. Why do people, face firing squads and give a salute saying you're only killing a man or a woman? You ain't killing the idea. It's because if you have a belief, a cause, you actually put something higher than yourself. I mean, whether it's a religion, whether it's a political belief, it doesn't matter what it is. You can extract from that an absolute feeling of power and confidence and self-esteem. And it seems that Wilder has that and has always had that. Whereas Joshua, as we know, is in some sort of, I don't know, identity purgatory. He's just not looking like he's... he looks like he constantly second guesses himself. He constantly has to be told what to do. He constantly has to be encouraged in order to have any confidence. And I always use the phrase fistic identity. When you don't have an identity, you're on a downer. It's a downward spiral. And something or someone, or maybe just yourself, has to intervene and stop that downward spiral. Because the more positivity breeds positivity, negativity breeds negativity, and Joshua just, I know that he's with Derek James now, and that's okay. They've had 2 fights together. Joshua hasn't looked good in either one of them, but he's won them, okay, which is the main thing. Because if you remember, I mean, in my lifetime, probably the best example I can think of is Vladimir Klitschko when he teamed up with Manny Stewart. That was a complete rebuilding process, mentally as well as physically. The man's psyche was fractured. He'd been, knocked out 3 times in his career, and the Corrie Sanders knockout was shocking, and he'd been stopped by a journeyman earlier on in his career. So he had very little confidence, and sometimes you can be lacking in confidence but desperately want to get back in the ring, or want to get on with life and prove no, but so you're in a kind of denial. When you stop and you say, or someone says it for you, actually, your confidence is low, come on mate, you're going to suffer. When you sort of say, okay, you're right, I need to rebuild from the floorboards up, that can be a good starting point. And I'm hoping that Derek James is doing this with Joshua. Now, having said that, it takes time. It takes a long time. And Joshua still seems to me, like judging by the two fights, with James, it just looks to me like he's nowhere near being ready for someone like Wilder, who does hit like a truck with that right hand, and is someone who, regardless of inactivity, regardless of his age, is a very confident person who we know hangs tough when the going gets tough. He really, I mean, the beating he took in that third Fury fight, and he wasn't quitting. Fury literally had to knock him out. And even then he was defiant. Fury came over to the corner and Wilder basically told him to piss off. This is a man who's a fighting man. He's got it in him. Joshua at the moment looks like someone who, he contradicts himself. He doesn't know whether he's meant to be the good guy or the bad guy, when of course he should consider himself to be nothing. He should just consider himself to be himself, whatever that is. He's constantly he seems concerned with what others think. He seems concerned about whether he should be aggressive or defensive, or when he should be aggressive, when he should be defensive. There just doesn't seem to be any cohesion or any fluidity to what he does. When he was with Robert McCracken, and before that Tony Sims, especially Tony Sims, I think he got his best results under Sims. He was a banger. He was a come-forward guy. He would take risks if he needed to. It didn't even seem to occur to him that he was taking any risks. His attitude was, I'm coming for you. I've got power. I've got big size. I'm going to put it on you. Look at the man who fought Dillian Whyte, mugging Whyte off, poking his tongue out. In the first round, he was going for a first-round knockout. It's like a different fighter nowadays. And until Joshua reclaims some of that confidence, the idea of fighting Wilder is just... I mean, when he fought Dillian Whyte, that's the fight I meant. Did I say Wilder or did I say Whyte? When he fought Dillian Whyte, he had that absolute self-belief. Going in there against Wilder, at the very least, he will need a similar sort of confidence. Otherwise, he'll get splattered, to be honest with you. And yes, he hits hard. Yes, he can hit Wilder. But can you imagine if he knocked Wilder down and Wilder got up, and then came straight at him? I mean, the type of psyche that Joshua has at the moment, that would demoralise him. If you see him between rounds in his recent fights, he's asking questions constantly. He's, what about this? What's he doing here? What am I doing? Do you want me to do this? Again, no fluidity. He seems like a man riddled with self-doubt. So I think the fact that he may not fight Wilder yet is a very good thing. I don't want him to fight Wilder yet. And I think that, okay, give him another... I mean, I would like to see another 3 fights, to be honest with you, with James, working on things that are... that they're working on in the gym. And hopefully he's got some sort of sports psychologist with him, trying to work on his mentality, his attitude, his confidence, his whole overall psyche. Then you can talk about making another run for the title, or fighting a Wilder, or someone like that. And in the meantime, I would give him, tough sort of B-level fighters. I know what you're going to say now, who. It is very difficult. But I think someone like, if he beat a Bacoli, if he beat, F.A. Ajagba is a big lump. And I don't think these are givens. I think Bacoli and Ajagba are perfectly capable of beating Joshua. But if he can beat some of those, would you call them B or B plus fighters? I don't know what. But, guys who are not elites but are worthy contenders, if he can beat a couple of those, I think his confidence will automatically increase. What I don't think is you put him in with a couple of knockover jobs, a couple of easy fights, people he's just going to wipe out in 2 or 3 rounds. You can have your spectacular knockouts. The one against Hellenius was spectacular. It didn't do anything. It doesn't matter, because what went before it you weren't fooling anyone with that knockout. People can see the cracks, they can see the flaws. So I think that this is the way Joshua should go. I don't think he should be in there with Wilder, someone who's got that much power and that much self-belief, delusionary or otherwise. I think he should fight some good B plus fighters. If he gets taken 10 rounds, fine. If he doesn't look good doing it, that's fine too. you know, it's not all bad, the two fights he's had with James so far, because even though he didn't look good and the cracks were very evident, he's winning and he's getting the rounds under his belt and they're working on stuff. But you can't do it in 6 months. It takes you about 2 years to get with a trainer and for you to find that synergy where you're both working towards the same thing and you're kind of finishing each other's sentences, and you know what so and so. You don't have to ask questions. You know what each other expects, right? So those are my thoughts on Joshua. Leave yours below. Thank you as always for your time. And of course, I'll answer your comments. I always like reading them. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. If you could do that, that'd be great. And oh yeah, hit the like button as well. You know what I mean? All right. Cheers. Thanks a lot. Bye for now.